So this video shows you how to create the sketching called Sketch Exercise 0-1. I'm going to say new part file. Make sure you have an inch part file. And you may need to say start 2D sketch. Mine automatically opened to it. What you can start with for this is you can actually use the rectangle tool and pick the origin. So make sure that the cursor turns to green. You can see that it snaps to the origin when it finds it. And you need it to be approximately 1.5 inches wide, 2 inches tall. So I'm looking down in this bottom corner right here to see the approximate dimensions. All right, good enough. Next, I'm going to create that little half circle that goes on the top. To do that, though, I'm going to draw a full circle and then cut away half the circle. I just find that to be a much easier way to do it. So I'm going to snap to the midpoint here, click, and now I'm going to let the cursor snap to the end point here. So as you can see, the circle found the midpoint and then came out and found the end point here. So now I have a circle and a rectangle. I'm going to hit escape to get out of that tool. Now there's something called the trim tool. It basically cuts away part of a line that you don't want. And if you look at this picture, it actually shows you how it cuts it. It cuts it to the next closest sketch feature or line. I'm going to hit trim, and you can see this circle is actually going to trim away the half that is below the line because it's finding this line as the border or the boundary. So I'm going to click that, and that will be gone. And now I can actually click this, and it'll trim away that entire line. Okay, so now it's time to dimension. Or let's say constrain the sketch. So first I'm going to add some number dimensions to it. So I know the width of this is 1.5. And I know the height of this line is 2. But wow, our circle doesn't look so good anymore, does it? It's actually slanted. What constraint would make it so that this is not a slanted line? You can make it so that these points are horizontally across from each other. So the horizontal constraint up here works for lines, but it also can work for 2 different points. So you can pick this and pick 2 points and say that they are horizontally across from each other. All right, so I'm going to pick 1 point and pick the midpoint. And now those 2 are actually horizontally across from each other. Hit escape. And now let's see, how can this move? Let's first of all turn on our degrees of freedom by clicking the light bulb. So you can see this can still move up and down. So there are many options. I can pick the horizontal constraint and say that this is again horizontally across from this one. And now we are fully constrained. I'm going to undo and show you a different one. I could also say that that circle and the line are tangent. And that will do the same thing. So I'm going to pick a circle, pick the line, and now those are tangent, because that's the definition of tangent. So there are many ways to do it. The last thing you need to do, you can see by my cursor, I'm still in this tangent tool, so I'm going to hit escape. Okay. The last thing I need to do is add those rounded corners. Now you could draw circles and trim away what you don't want, but that's very tedious. The software program has a built-in corner rounding, if you want to call it that. It's actually called a fillet in the engineering world. So you click fillet, and it puts a rounded corner on there for you. So I'm going to click that button, type in the 0.25. That's what it wants. Now I'm going to pick the 2 lines that make up that corner. So you have to pick lines here, not the point. So I'm going to pick the first line. Second line, you can even see the preview green line. It's showing me what it's going to be. And it automatically adds these tangent lines or tangent constraints from the line to the circle for you. So I'm going to do it again for this corner. Doesn't matter what order you pick the 2 lines. And the other thing I want to show you is that, do you see how it actually cuts off that corner? So now that's the shape you needed. Check that it says fully constrained, that everything's purple, and that if I hit this, there are no red arrows. So you know you're done now because you're fully constrained. I'm going to hit finish sketch. Come to the big eye and say save as. And you can save this as your initials -- skill exercise 0-1. and save it in your Google Drive folder.